there was a fashion designer who basically he made like 50 shirts or something like that, like it made like a limited amount of shirts, and then he charged like, I think it was like, I don't know, $125, $150 per shirt. Well, he knew how many people wanted shirts. He put out like a post or like a survey that was like, who would buy a shirt, basically.
Pre-sale.
Yeah, like, yeah, a pre-sale. Who would buy a shirt? You can get the pre-sale here. And then I think there was like 150 people who signed up, or 200 people, but then he only made 50 of them, and then put the price at like $90, $100 or something like that. So they sold out fast, and then some people couldn't get it. So everybody was like, oh, okay, I got to get the next one, and built up the anticipation for it.
That's really smart.
Yeah, so he knew how many people were gonna buy it. He's like, well, I'll make a little less, because then it'll create that, supply and demand. And
That's smart, and also in just like the business space too, not to invest too much out of pocket. I pre-sell them, so you need it for your next launch too.
So Studio Captions here today with Katie with the fashion brand GARB, and we're here to talk about some of your life. Oh, I forgot my co-host, of course, Serena Renee, model, actress, just entrepreneur, all around good person. But we're here with Katie with the fashion brand GARB, and we came here to learn today about how you got in the position you're in now, what you've been working on, how you started, and where you're headed.
Okay.
So
A lot to unpack there.
yeah. So I guess we'll start out with how did you get, so you explain to the viewers, what do you do exactly and who you are?
Okay. Right now, I am an emerging designer of a fashion brand, GARB, where we're designing unique fashion for the chic so that the stylish can express their edge. So the heart of the mission is really self-love and authentic expression. I have a background in styling, and that started several years ago, which was always like a dream or desire of mine to be in the fashion space. I was one, like as a kid, to always be altering or cutting my clothes, always like wearing different outfits. And so I launched a styling business. That was kind of just a flowing process. I had met an awesome stylist in Arizona as soon as I moved here. So I did an apprenticeship with her, and I realized, well, I've always known, but especially in styling a lot of other women, how much our style and our authenticity and being able to like embrace and accept all of who you are and tap into what your style actually is affects our lives. So our clothes are like part of our environment, and they have such a huge part in affecting our confidence and our energy. We can wear certain pieces or colors or power pieces that affect us. And so the styling business like evolved into also a self-love coaching space. A lot of women were looking to feel good in their clothes, which is an external sort of desire, and really the heart of feeling good is from the inside. So I ended up working with a lot of women on their self-love, their self-worth, meditations and techniques to address that. And then the outward transformation, like I would guide them through higher self meditations to figure out what their style they wanted to embody, and then allow that to dictate what we shopped for. And then when they got dressed, it was like they were tapping into their higher self, who they were growing into, and how they felt their best, and then dress their clothes, which I love doing. And but my big dream was always to be a designer, the one making the clothes that made people feel good. And so I got connected with Phoenix Fashion Week in January of just this year, and it was like a catalyst for launching the brand. And the heart of the mission, like I said, is self-love, because how much that affects how we feel in our day-to-day life, how we view ourselves in our clothes. And then just, I think love is the concept of existence. Like the mission of life is really to like learn how to love ourselves and love other people and create our lives from that space.
Well, let's pull it all the way back, because that was good. I love the rollout and everything. So let's start back at, where were you from? Where did you grow up at before you came to Arizona? Because you said you moved to Arizona. So where were you born, and raised that gave you that kind of that clothing was important or extension of your happiness or yourself? Like where were you at?
So I was born in Elko, Nevada. I lived in St. George for a little bit, but then moved back to Elko, Nevada. My dad was a geologist and my mom an art teacher. My mom and her mom were always had a sewing machine and were like making clothes, or my mom was always able to help alter or fix things. So I think that played a big part in it. And then, but I was always in small towns because my dad was a geologist.
Yeah, where is that town? Elko? Elko? Where?
It's northeastern Nevada.
Okay.
And
because I only know Vegas. I know Vegas and Reno.
it's like opposite.
Okay, opposites. Yeah. Okay, so your mom, did she do it as a job, like, or just for you guys fixing the clothing?
Just for the family.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I ended up getting married like right out of high school, and then shortly after.
Still in Oko? But was he from Oko?
Yep.
You guys went to high school together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweethearts. And we had kids, like my first son was born 3 years after we got married, and then shortly after we moved to Gillette, Wyoming, which was another very small town, not very fashion forward, but an awesome place to raise kids.
Were you already doing fashion at that point?
Only for myself.
Okay.
I would style some friends, always let them borrow stuff from my closet. Sturgis is right there, so there was a big motorcycle scene. I think that's where I realized I had to have a motorcycle, and then realizing like the power piece of a leather moto jacket. Learned how to ride a motorcycle in Wyoming and was just really empowered by that.
What were you doing for work at the time in Wyoming and before Wyoming?
Before Wyoming, in Elko, Nevada, I started out of high school, went to school for business, and then dropped out of college to actually open a business with some friends. We brought over a 40-foot container from Bali, Indonesia, and had like an import furniture store. That was awesome. Learned so much about business and a lot of things, people through that, and that was open for a few years, and then we decided to close it. We didn't really have the market there.
Did you have a brick and mortar, or were you just...
Brick and mortar.
Okay.
Yeah, big brick and mortar space.
Yeah. So how long was that open for?
I think 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
And then once you closed that, you're still married, got your kid, one kid at the time?
One kid at the time. Now I have two sons. But moved to Wyoming and then kind of focused on being a stay-at-home mom for a while. Worked at Starbucks. I always worked at coffee shops. I love coffee. And then I got into real estate in Wyoming. And that...
What type of real estate? Were you an agent? Or do you...
Yeah, like a traditional agent. In Wyoming, you can sell commercial and residential with the same license. But I got my license and then my associate broker's license. And that was an awesome experience. Learning how to like work with money, investments, and
people. What were you focused on, like single family, multiplexes, multifamily, or like what were you, commercial?
I more focused on originally single family, but quickly moved into investment properties. So finding flips for other people to flip, and then realized I want to do that.
Yeah.
Then I started buying my own properties up there and rehabbing them, keeping them as rentals if the numbers made sense, and then if not, flipping them.
But you finding investors or using your own money, or how are you rehabbing?
So in Wyoming, there was an awesome local bank that actually gave us like a private commercial loan. I've never heard of another bank actually doing this. I only had to put like $11,000 down on the first deal I ever bought, and then they carried the loan and the rehab at like a super low interest rate. At the time, it was like 5%, I think.
Yeah.
And then, so by the time the house was rehabbed, I was able to refinance it and do like the BRRRR method. So pulled all the money back out and more, I think, that I put into it. And I still have it as a rental.
Yeah. Oh, you still got his rental? Oh, nice. Yeah.
I got 2 up there. I did branch out into some multifamily with a partner, but ended up selling them when I moved down here.
So how long were you in Wyoming for?
almost 11 years.
So through the 11 years, real estate the whole time? Most of it?
Real estate the whole time with a lot of fashionable outfits
Yeah.
in that town.
But not focused on fashion yet, just doing your own clothing.
Yeah, I was actually listening to a podcast in Wyoming. I was doing 75 hard. And so I was going on all these walks every day, like listening to so many podcasts. And then I heard this one, and this lady was like talking actually about death and how right before people die, they have usually two regrets: that they wish they would have allowed themselves to be more of who they truly were, and then they wish they would have went after their big dream.
What podcast was that?
I can't even remember which podcast it was. I'll have to figure it out because that.
But you remember them saying that?
Yeah.
Like what they said stuck with you?
Yeah. That's when I was like, if I don't do something with fashion, I'm definitely going to regret it. And so then really shortly after, moved to Arizona and launched the styling business.
So you moved to Arizona for fashion? Or why'd you move to Arizona?
I moved to Arizona for several reasons. Fashion forward, it being more of a fashion hotspot, and then just expansion, the weather, the people. I had friends here, and I kept making trips down. And I remember specifically one time going back, like starting to land in the airplane and it being sad. And like, this does not feel like home anymore. And I have to move. And then
Did you
in a couple months.
did you consider like New York or Los Angeles at the time for fashion?
I hadn't actually been to New York at that time. I loved LA and California, but Arizona just had my heart. I had been here several years before moving to Wyoming, and then visiting friends down here. I just fell in love.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to be here.
So did you already have a place picked out before you moved out here? Did you just kind of come out on a whim and just get a apartment for a while, or stay in a hotel, Airbnb? What'd you do when you came out?
I came down once specifically to look at houses and put offers in. It was in 2021, so the market was really crazy, and there were multiple offers and houses going for well over listing price. All the houses I saw that I ended up offering on, I got beat out.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I think I just started rapid firing any offers that were in my price range. And so I was able to get like a second home loan at the time because I had the rentals in Wyoming. And so I ended up buying a house in Gilbert, sight unseen. And it was funny because before I moved here, I was actually at the coffee shop in Agritopia having coffee and breakfast. And I was like, I want this to be my coffee shop. Like, I love this.
Agritopia, where's that?
It's on like Higley and Ray. It's a awesome little spot.
It's like Mesa kind of, or Gilbert, okay.
Gilbert, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up buying that house and closing on it. And then I wasn't able to move down into it for, I think, about a month because my kids had to finish school in Arizona. And then moved in. And then still like a few weeks later, I didn't even realize I bought a house right next to Agritopia.
Yeah.
Where I wanted to be. So
That's awesome.
that was cool.
Yeah, so as soon as you got out here, did you stop doing real estate? Did you quit doing real estate in Wyoming? Or you...
I did real estate here for, I think, about a year.
It's got to be a better market out here, no? Than Wyoming, or different, or...
So different, like wildly different. So you had to redo all the testing specific to Arizona. So I got that. I sold some houses, but the pool of people, pool of houses, and then with the market changing so much after I moved here, it just didn't feel like what I wanted to do anymore.
Was that 2021 you got here?
2021, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I transitioned slowly out of that. I still did a lot of flips and investment properties here, even after I stopped being a traditional agent. I just used my license to flip houses.
Nice. And then...
Like 9 or so.
So you still doing real estate, or you just kind of put it this side, focused on... Or anytime there's a deal, you're going to hop in, like...
Yeah. So I still like... I think the best market to flip in, if you could find a deal, because that town's so small, is Gillette, Wyoming.
Okay.
A lot smaller price point, and then still that great relationship with the local bank. But I have a house that's under contract in South Carolina that was supposed to close yesterday.
Oh, congrats.
Now we're closing Monday, but yeah.
Nice, yeah.
But the market's like ever changing, and so I don't know.
Right now, stuff is high out here. I know that. And
So high.
Phoenix, Tempe,
Yeah.
you know, you kind of got to find some on the outskirts, like farther up northwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive right now.
Yeah. And
Interest rates are high.
so
Yeah.
high. So
Yeah, that's a,
fashion, mostly fashion.
yeah. So you when do you take fashion serious? I know like in Wyoming you were like, okay, I gotta do fashion. I have to, make it happen. I'm designing my own stuff. I want to get into fashion. Let me move to Arizona and do that. You still got your hands in real estate. You're flipping homes. You're making money doing that. At what point does like fashion start taking up a larger part of your interest or a larger part of your time or your efforts?
It definitely
At-
started taking up.
At what point though?
Oh, at what point?
Yeah.
I think when I launched the styling business and started booking a lot of clients, then I was like, okay, this is more fun and more impactful and more personable. And so I just kind of started shifting my focus.
But you were styling people with other people's clothes at the time or your own stuff? Okay. What year is that?
People's clothes. I think the styling business was still started in 2021 and then continued.
Yeah. Okay. So 2021, you move out, you start styling other people, you're doing real estate. And then when does that light bulb click? Like, man, I need to put my own clothing on people. Yeah. I need to design and put my own designs on people.
So my mom took me to New York Fashion Week for my birthday, 2023. So just last year.
Oh, wow.
And I remember being there and just being in awe of the runway and the designs. There was a up and coming designer. I'll have to look at what their name was, but they had these like awesome pants with zippers and lace and leather, like totally my vibe. Everything in his collection was black, and I was just like starstruck. And I from that trip coming home, I remember posting on Instagram, writing like to hold myself accountable. I am a designer.
Mm-hmm.
So I like spoke into existence. I like made it public so I couldn't talk myself out of it, and then just started making steps towards it.
So you meet at that point, is that when you meet the person you said that you met in Arizona that was helping you with designs or helping you take it professionally, get a business going? Is that who you met at that point?
So I met a stylist in 2021, and then in October of 2023, after coming back from New York Fashion Week, I did meet a seamstress that I started working with and started giving her designs to start making without having the real business knowledge of exactly how to design and run a business from it. And then I was connected first with the head stylist of Phoenix Fashion Week on 1/11 of this year.
How did you meet the seamstress though? So how do you?
Actually, through a real estate open house.
Okay.
My partner at the time was holding an open house, and this awesome seamstress like walked in. You could tell she was into making her own clothes by what she was wearing, just like very eclectic, and got her business card. We had coffee, and it just took off.
So that was like the universe bringing somebody to you. You're like, I need to get into fashion. I need to, figure this out. And then she walks in the door.
Yeah.
And then they strike up the conversation. And then you get introduced to who at Fashion Week, you said?
It was Afton, and she's a head stylist.
And how did that connection happen?
The same thing, the universe. Like, I just ask, and then it delivers.
Yeah.
I was going to the Foundress, which is a women's networking group, awesome group. And I was a little bit late because it's like, sometimes with traffic, leaving my house, it's like a 50-minute drive. So I walk in, and there's probably 100 or so ladies, and there was a seat opened by one lady at like I had to walk like all the way to the front of the room, sit by her. And then they do this cool thing where they have a lady speak on business, and then they do like hot seats, like answering questions or problems with your business, like how can anyone help you, what's an ask.
Nice.
So I started saying like, I have a styling business, but I really want to be a designer. And that she was like, I'm the stylist of Phoenix Fashion Week, and let me connect you with Brian Hill, who's the director of Phoenix Fashion Week. And so it was on 1/11, And she grabs her phone and starts texting him at 11:11. Like, Katie wants to be in.
11111.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like angel numbers all the way and just meant to be. And then they had their launch for their next boot camp that night. So it was like that day, joined that night, and then I've been connected with Phoenix.
Wow. 2023, right? Last year? That was, this year, 2024. So you're fresh in the game. Yeah. So how's Brian been? Not just necessarily Brian, but Phoenix Fashion Week in general. Like, how's it been learning, or like, because I know they have a program, right, that you go through. They teach you about kind of a rollout, getting your brand ready, having like the paperwork right to manufacture, to get your stuff in stores. Like, how has it been learning all that?
It's been awesome, and I've learned so much. So the first program I did was their digital designer bootcamp. That was like a 6-week program, and we had to get really clear on our brand, our target audience, our brand message, tagline, ideal fashion customer, business, skills, habits, all the things in 6 weeks, and then produce 3 pieces for the competition at the end, and my brand won that.
Wow. Yeah. It's a great brand. I've seen the shirts you have, the color, like, it's not like just a black, but it has like that kind of like hint, that hue in it of like, you know, kind of like grayish almost. Like, I just love the texture and the look. Yeah. And it's a really clean look on the logo on GARB. Yeah. So working with Brian, learning, what's the most important thing you think you learned, like, from working in Fashion Week, or the most valuable thing that was kind of like a light bulb that went off and you're like, oh, you know, one of those?
There's been a lot of them. So now in the live boot camp that we're like leading towards 10 looks for the runway in the fall, we still have to apply the stuff we learned in the first boot camp. So that brand message, tagline, ideal fashion customer, I think has been the biggest light bulb moment, because if you don't have clarity around your brand, you don't know who you're even attracting or like where you're going. It's like where you set your goals from.
So say that one more time for the people at home. The mission statement, or what?
Yeah, like brand message. Well, brand name.
Brand name.
Brand message.
Brand message.
Tagline.
Tagline.
Ideal fashion customer.
Okay.
And then like the heart of the mission and what you make too.
Yeah. So the 10 designs that you're doing, well, what kind of designs can people look forward to by you designing? Is it, you know, t-shirts, pants, jackets, dresses? Like, what can people look out for?
Peak. So the t-shirts, I love a graphic tee, obviously, and the logo with the snake, I think, makes such like a clean look. But the t-shirts were the initial thing to build momentum of the brand, and I'll still design t-shirts. But what I really wanted to make was like power pieces, like rocker chic and moto inspired jackets and blazers, and I had pants, 2 different styles of pants, some exciting like vest pieces, and
Yeah. You already have all your models for the runway, because me and her kind of. But if you need some guys, you got a girl, just ready to make it happen for you.
so that for the runway, part of the program is you use the
Top 40, yeah.
Because it's like in business with them. However, I am gonna have a lot of photo shoots for like my website and social media, and for that I love bringing in anybody that aligns with the brand or loves the brand. I would totally love to have you guys.
Sabrina actually just had an interview with the Top 40 model Fashion Week. They interviewed her. Yeah.
How'd that go?
I'm good. That's nice.
Yeah, what'd they tell you?
She just asked me questions about myself. What makes me... Why do I want to be a model? I must have an experience with modeling. You should just show me around.
Did they end up selecting you, or they got to get back to you?
I'm not sure.
No?
I don't think so.
You don't...
That's okay.
It's all good. Plenty opportunity coming,
Yeah,
Exactly.
any exposure is good exposure too. And you're coming to the party tonight?
Yeah, it's right after this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of, they have the Phoenix Fashion Week. It's Phoenix Fashion Week. I'll let you explain it. You can explain it better than me. I'm just a guest, so.
It's the Top 40 Print Challenge. So there's 4 themes that they did. 4 awesome, very different themes that all of the models broke into like groups of 4. and they did video coverage and photos, and then the public gets to vote on the best theme that all came together, and they had a YouTube video. This is super cool competition.
Nice. Well, we get a vote. We're gonna be there to vote.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So the GARB dusters in the country western chic.
That's who we vote for. Is it okay? That sounds good. You're here with us, so we're on your team tonight. Yeah. So like that seems like it kind of brought us to now. You know, going through Phoenix Fashion Week, the digital class, and then going through the next program, and then getting ready for your 10 different items now. So it seems like you're just moving up quick. Like most people probably been around for 5-10 years wanting to make, a brand, and they're just really making stuff at home and not networking. And like, how important is networking?
Networking is probably one of the most important things we can do. I think what we need is so intertwined with other people in our community, and I think through other people, like, the universe supports what we want and our needs. And I mean, that's how we.
Because I don't think, I just haven't seen people do it all on their own. The Lone Rangers who want to do everything on their own, like go just want to do everything, grab their own shirts, print their own stuff, design their own designs, and, sell it and be their own sales rep and try to do all these jobs, which they might be good at everything, but it's really hard to spread yourself like that thin across the board and expect it. But it's good to know it all, like, in the beginning, to learn each step, and then be able to bring people in when the time's right with your business to help you grow.
Yeah. I think that is an interesting thing. Like, it is awesome to know all areas and dimensions of the business, but if you're like holding on to it and not letting other people do what they're good at,
right,
it kind of it stifles your growth.
Yeah, like let the computer guy who draws it up for you be that guy. Let your sales rep be your sales rep, but make sure they have everything they need to do their job. Like, you gotta have a team.
Build a team.
You gotta have a team. Yep.
Yeah, and your network is your net
worth. I heard that. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. So tonight's that event. We're voting for you. You're gonna win another event tonight. I'm assuming. And then what's next? So after this, what's the future look like? What can fans or followers or viewers look forward to from you and GARB?
So the 10 looks will be on the runway show September 28th. And then those looks will be available for purchase immediately after on my website at garbstyles.com, styles with a Z at the end. And then I'll also be doing another drop before the runway show of something else, so people can go on my website and sign up for the newsletter and be the first to see that.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah.
And then post runway show too, just getting the brand into local boutiques that align with the aesthetic and the mission. I love collaboration, so looking to work with influencers, athletes, people that really love the brand, love fashion, and notice that the way their clothes make them feel. And so looking for that to spread brand awareness.
I'm not the most versed in like the fashion world. I like to think sometimes I dress okay, but I always hear a story about like about fashion or like t-shirts, clothing. Do you know rap, like the rap world, hip hop, like Burner? Have you heard of Burner?
I know like old rap.
Yeah, okay. So this guy's a little newer, not new, but like the last maybe 8-7 years, right? This rapper named Burner from Northern California. He was worked at a weed dispensary, in a marijuana dispensary, and he had a design on a sweater that he had, and he had been saving up his money apparently, and he did a song with Wiz Khalifa, and in the video he wears his brand in the video, and then below the video is a link for people to buy his sweater. Had never really sold too many of his sweaters before. It wasn't a famous brand, but once the video came out, he sold 10,000 sweaters when the video dropped. The cross branding, with Wiz Khalifa, who's a huge star, which I'm sure you both have probably heard of Wiz, being on the video. And I just always thought that story was like so smart and amazing that,
Yeah, and blending hip hop and fashion is super cool.
It's like goes hand in hand, like I think, I forget, it's like 5 different parts of hip hop, which is like dance, rap, fashion, culture, or there's two other ones. I forget what it is, but there's like different parts of that walk hand in hand with it,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so look, I thank you for coming in today. Do you want to tell the people where to find you at, where they're gonna be able to find your clothing in? I know you said GARB with a Z.com, but where can they find you at online? Let them know.
Thank you so much for having me too. First of all, this is a cool conversation, and I like what you're doing too.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Garb Styles on Instagram is garb.styles with a Z. And then clothing's available for purchase on my website at www.garbstyles.com.
Awesome. Thank you for coming through. That was great. Studio Captions' first podcast. I think it was a crazy success. Loved having you both on. My co-host here, You did a good job.
Thank you.
Well, you guys ready to go to this fashion event then?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Should be about that
Perfect
time.
timing. Oh, dang, good.
I set the timer too for us so we knew.
Thank you.
Yeah.